Let me introduce you to Vicente Padilla. He's CEO of Aertec Solutions. Miguel Vázquez, Managing Director and co-founder of DHV Technology. Antonio de las Nieves, co-founder of Yerbabuena Softwear. And Alfonso Rodriguez, Marketing and Communication Manager for Aertec. It's a company from Altra, Corporación, Empresarial. If you have any questions, please make at the end all the speakers. So please, I think the first to speak is Miguel Vázquez. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind introduction. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you to the organization to give the opportunity to share our experience with you and to invitation of this event of Grow International Project. I plan to follow the schedule and don't spend more than 10 minutes. And it's quite difficult to talk about your own company in only 10 minutes. But we are just put attention in some slides or some detail of our company. You can imagine this presentation is longer, but we are focused on some details. We are SME company, and we are engineering company. We are a technological based company, and we are focused on photovoltaic technology. And our goal is focus on photovoltaic technology with high value added. So we are new company. We are starting the operation is in November of 2013. But all the founders, all the technical staff, we have really long experience in photovoltaic. International companies in defense sector, automotive sector, microelectronic, and so on. So it's a quite technological staff. We have basically three business areas: space sector, and photovoltaic technology applications, and R&D consulting service. In the R&D consulting, we are put in value. We offer our experience in R&D programs with company of our environment, basically in Malaga and Andalusia. And in the space sector and in photovoltaic technology, we developed solar arrays for space applications. We are three founders with a long experience, as we commented before, and our technical staff is different knowledge in, as you can imagine, electronical, chemical, and aeronautical, and so on. And in focusing the space business, we design and manufacture solar panels for space applications. You can find in the slide there some schedule of photovoltaic module for space application based in honeycomb substrate or in PCB substrate, and we have a long experience in solar cell applied in space applications, and this is our first project. In last year, in 2014, was launched an Italian satellite with solar panels manufactured by us here in Malaga, and you can see in the slides and some picture of the solar modules and the integrations with the launcher in Yasny in Russia. We are focusing small satellite applications. Small satellites is in general 500 kilograms satellite and less. And in this satellite, for example, has a weight of 26 kilograms. In general, we have focusing in this type of small satellite, and in QSAT and other applications which are even less. This is an example of our products. In different geometry. It's called CubeSat. Geometry is about 10 by 30 centimeter side, 10 by 10 centimeter side. The solar panels you can see in the slide, for example. So you can imagine that satellite is like a computer. So the miniaturization of system could now is possible to bowl more and more capability in less volume. So the small satellites and the CubeSat satellites in general are in really high interest, and they are really in a really high rate of growth in this market. Mainly we are focusing application of universities, small SME companies, and big companies, because there are some big companies that are focused on small satellite applications. Our market basically is in Europe and United States. We have some customer in other part of the world, in South America or in Asia, but mainly our main part of the market is in Europe and in United States. So when we design our business plan, really our business plan is an international plan. So our technology or our application is quite niche market. It's quite specialized. So our market must be all the world, because the volume of the market is small. So it's a niche market. This is an example of CubeSat architecture, as I commented before, and talking about terrestrial applications, about photovoltaic applications. We are in developing engineering projects in general. We develop products, and we develop engineering projects in general. There are some examples we developed in 2014 in Dubai, on Egypt, commissioning Kuwait, and some installations. We develop engineering projects of different size. We develop, for example, our solar light autonomous with photovoltaic power, including the battery and so on. This is a quite autonomous system. And this is some example of the equipment we're working here in Malaga, in the Technology Park of Andalusia. And this is some of our products and service. We are high speed in high concentration photovoltaics, other technology, photovoltaic technology, and this is one example of one installation here in Malaga. We have an agreement with the University of Malaga. This is one concentration photovoltaic system was built this year in the University of Malaga. Finally, we like to comment. We are Spanish award in 2014 is engineering is an innovative based company. We are qualified, quality qualified and environment qualified, ISO 901 and 401. We are quite focused on R&D projects. We are long experience in R&D projects, and one of the point of the R&D is we are quite focused in this type of initiatives to get funded to our R&D programs. So we like to say thank you to the Ministerio de Economía y Competitividad from the Spanish government to fund our R&D projects in 2014 and in 2015. We have some projects with we are the leader of this project, this Paleo project, and we are involved in another international project in solar light. Is a project in the FP7 call, and And in Power Leo is another project of 2015. So finally, I like to comment, as Eva comment before, there are some barriers. It's difficult to the in general SME company to attack. So we are the way to face this barrier has been the knowledge of the technology, to get funding to the R&D programs, to funding our internal R&D, and to prepare during nearly 2 years the business plan before start the company to assure all the contacts and all the objectives. So we are quite open to some questions, and thank you again for the organization. Thank you very much.
Please, Vicente Padilla from Aertec.
Hi, my name is Vicente Padilla. I'm an aeronautical engineer by training, and I'm going to talk about Aertec and what we've learned. And of course, since I'm an aeronautical engineer, I want to talk about an aeronautical engineering company. I'm just going to give you a couple of slides to explain you what we are. The aeronautical business is quite big and wide, and we specialize in 3 things, which are airports. We design airports. We assist the manufacturing companies to build their airplanes. We don't design airplanes. We assist them to build them. We're talking about especially Airbus. And finally, we actually design and build some aerospace and defense systems. I'm talking about unmanned vehicles or unmanned airplanes, these drones that everybody's talking about nowadays. We began in 1997. There were 2 of us when we started. And I just want to mention that in 2001, we were about like 15 people, we were already going international. It was our first job in London Luton Airport, and I clearly remember because it was kind of scary to move over there. But it's very, very, very important. It was very important for us to go international. Just to give you a brief picture of where we are, the blue bullets are countries where we are permanently. The red ones, the red dots, are places where we've done something, like just looking at this in Lima, Peru. Now we are working in the new development of the new airport in Lima. Or what I see there in Indonesia, we accompanied Airbus because they were manufacturing airplanes over there. Why did we do it? Well, there are many reasons. Probably the most important one, and it's not written there, is because we had to. We couldn't afford staying in Spain and working in Spain only because the market was too shaky. So we needed to diversify, and that was important for us in the sense of having different customers. We were dependent on too few customers, especially in Spain where you have one airport operator only. We also realized that people really love the international arena. They feel motivated and when they are working international projects, and that was important for them. Of course, we were adding value to our clients because we were learning from all over the world. We were learning the best practice from all over the world, and we were bringing to a customer the best practice from all over the world. While in the past, it was only the best practice of Spain. So when you go international, you learn more and you add more value to your customers. And finally, and this is a little bit ambitious, but that's how I felt, we wanted to lead. We wanted to be a key players in the aeronautical sector in the world. It's quite ambitious. Just I'm going to talk about the lessons we learned along the way, because I tell you, we made lots of mistakes along the way. One of the first things that you have to know is your own strength. You need to know who you are and what you are best at. Out there, nobody's waiting for you. Nobody cares about you, and if you are not the best, they are not going to be interested. One of the mistakes that many small companies make is trying to sell it all. And you can't. You just can't. You have to choose. It's hard because you have to forgo some other capabilities that you have, but you do have to choose what you think you are best and go for them. So that's one of the very first lessons that we learned. The second important lesson is to choose your country very wisely. The world is very big, and you are very small. We were 15 people when we started doing this, and of course you want to do everything. We tried to go to many different countries. I still remember once we were applying for a design job in the Seychelles Islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and then you realize that you can be everywhere. You have to really try to figure out where you have the best chances and there is a market for you. In our case, at some point we decided that we had to focus on countries that have a big network of airports, for example, and foregoing the smaller countries because it was no sense of going over there. A very important lesson that we learned as well is to start at home. If you want to be international, you cannot be a bunch of Spaniards or Malagueños trying to go international. You have to have the international mentality, and the best way to do it is to have people from all over the world within your company. We have people from France, from Belgium, from Portugal, from Gabon, from Argentina, and that company we tried and we set objectives to hire people from abroad. I know that the politicians may not like this because they want them to hire Spaniards, but if you want to be international, you have to have an international team that thinks international. You cannot have this hick from the sticks mentality. Well, one of the things that we talked about here, or I've seen somebody mentioning, is the cultural adaptation. This is very, very important. We all speak English here, and we all understand each other, and nevertheless, there are many, many misunderstandings when it comes to cultural issues. I still remember working with the Americans, and for the Americans, it's very important when you set a date, they mean that date, and for the Spaniards, that means tomorrow, and tomorrow for us is one of these days. And that was a big issue with them. I mean, cultural differences are very, very important, and you really it's something that you can't learn. I'm sorry to say. I mean, you can be aware of it, but you don't know yourself. So it's really, really hard. To be honest, I don't know how you can overcome that, but it's not easy. Local legislation is something that I also seen that you have to talk about. One of the difficulties that we have had is that. We have to deal with taxes and laws abroad, and we don't know. It's really, really hard to have, it's impossible to have a lawyer in Spain that knows about all the different legislation all over the world. So if somebody tells you that that's possible, don't believe him. In our experience, the best way to do it is to hire a local lawyer in your target country and make a team with your lawyer from your company. Because, for example, now, today, I was talking to my financial guy. We have to pay, I don't know how much, or how many euros, how much money, because in Kuwait, we have a problem, and it's something that we didn't know. This is, again, local legislation. We didn't know, now we have to pay 10,000 extra euros that we were not aware of. The representative, that's an important key figure. Most of the companies tend to make the mistake of sending somebody from your own company abroad. I mean, somebody that you know, that you trust. And yes, that's a good idea. But the problem is that this person doesn't know the culture of the country, doesn't have the network on your target country. So, in my opinion, in our experience, it's much better to find somebody based and a native from the country that you are targeting. Just to give you an example, at some point we were in the UK and we were like the Spanish Armada there. There were only Spanish people there, and we have to do something with the telephone, like a little chip that we needed for the mobile telephone, and nobody knew how to do it. We even had the secretary that was from Spain. It was a big mistake. And then we changed the secretaries, and it was an English a native secretary. And then she was solving all these little problems that we didn't know how to solve it. Just because she was native, she knew people, she had the network. So in my opinion, don't send somebody from Spain abroad. Try to find somebody from the country that you are targeting. Well, languages, what can I say? I mean, if you don't speak foreign languages, forget about it. You do need to speak English. In our case, English is not enough. It's not enough because we don't sell. Most of what we sell is not stuff, it's services. So when we are in Italy, we need to speak Italian, and when we are in France, we need to speak French. So it's very important to speak the language of the country that you're targeting. And again, that takes us back to when I said that you have to have a team of international people. If you have somebody from Italy in your company, then you have someone that speaks perfect Italian, or somebody from France, you have somebody who speaks perfect French. And by the way, just because you speak very good English doesn't mean that you can write in English. I really suggest that whenever you write something, you have a native that corrects what you write, because there are many, many big mistakes, and that can cause lots of misunderstandings. Another important thing is to think global, think big. I know that you are small. I know that there are only 2, 3, 5 people. We were 15 when we went international. But you really need to think that you are going to be big. If you don't think that you're not going to be big, you don't think that you can become global, don't even try it. So whenever you try to go outside, look at the big guys, see how they do it, and try to follow their practices. That's my suggestion. And that's it. If you have any questions later on, I'll answer them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, Antonio Rodriguez from Alfonso Rodriguez from Aertec.
Okay. So, hello, my name is Alfonso Rodriguez, and I come on representing Aertec, a company based and born in Malaga, here in the Technology Park. First of all, I would like to thank the organization for inviting us to speak about our experiences in the internationalization process. I'm going to explain you how we develop our international process from the point of view of Aertec. Aertec is a company that, here it is, that belongs to Altra. Actually, is the mother of the group. Altra is a group developing technology, and in the end, it manufactures. We do manufacture here in Malaga. Our facilities are quite close to here. Anytime you'd like, you can come and visit us. And we have all those 3 lines that you can see over there. Aertec, which is mainly focused on HVAC application. That means air conditioning or heating. Everyone knows about that because we do have that in our houses or in our car or wherever we are, even here. At home, that's another division that evolves the concept of manufacturing controls for the home, but adding the control for blinds, alarm, and all that type of things. You know, it's called like domotics. And Evita, which is a health remote monitoring. That's a project where we try and we are pushing to get people out of the hospitals, because they are more comfortable in the end of the treatment. They are more comfortable at home, so you can remotely just screen some factors and send back to the medical team so they can evaluate. So, what is Aertec? And of course, that's not Aertec, that's a car. But the concept can be really well explained by watching this image. Nowadays, every car has what they call V-zone air conditioning. That means that one sitting on the left and the other one sitting on the right, they can have different temperatures. Okay, so applied to a home, what does it mean? It means that whenever you're having an installation, an air conditioning installation with duct air distribution, like we are showing in that 3D, it means that you can, why do I have to have the same temperature everywhere in the house? That's a non-logical thing. And even if you think about that, not everyone is staying at the same room at the same time. Well, maybe for God it's possible, but not for the people. So it's quite easy. Just set a motorized outlet so that everyone can have a different room temperature. In the end, what we have achieved is to save 53%. That means quite a lot. And if you go a bit deeper into how energy is spent in housing, you would find that 60% of the energy is spent on air conditioning. So saving 50% of the energy is quite that much. Okay, so what is Airson inside? After being born in 1997, that's more or less like a small garage where they do manufacture and they do all the small elements, electronic elements. And now we are having a complete and an intense business model where we do all our research and development, all our supply. We have suppliers from all over the world, as it must be, manufacturing, the quality process, and all the stages of the business. It's a must because, as in the previous presentation stated, you have to take into account every stage of the process to be able to go abroad. And now I'm coming to present you where we are. The black blue buttons is where we are present. We are having own people in Spain, for sure, in France, Italy, and the United States. And the other point shows, most of them shows how we operate in the rest of the world. We are having, by now we are having 3 different business models. And each one has its own particularities. Okay. For instance, as I told you, we're having these 3 types of business models. This is our factory, this is shipping the materials abroad. And those are the 3 business models that we're having. Or our own structure in another business, in another market. We are having a technical partnership. We do manufacture our own products and give to other manufacturers so they can sell it into the market, and through distributors that represent our brand. Okay. And now speaking more about international markets. France and Italy, there we are having our own people. And as stated before, it's key to have local people that really handles all the things in the market. Everyone has their own culture, and playing the game here in Spain has nothing to do with playing the game in France or even in Italy. The most difference we can find is in Italy, where there are some kind of representatives that are in the middle of the market, and it's impossible to go to the contracting companies. In our business, we manufacture the electronic elements, and then we sell to the market, to the contracting company, to the installers, so they can install in, never mind which is the house or the building. In Italy, that's completely different. You have to speak always with a local partner, with that representative, and if you don't do it that way, you won't arrive to the market. In France, the things again change. They are more like project people, so you have to find exactly how to get in contact with those engineerings, with those architects. If you don't speak to those guys, there's nothing to do. And in the end, we found it, and we are achieving this. We are improving these markets through these business models. Okay. The good thing about having your own people in those markets is that you can arrive exactly where you want to arrive. It's not easy. It's hard. You have to push every day, but nevertheless, that's the way. And we are being successful at this point. Another business model that we are having is to work through technical partnerships. That means that we are not directly present in those markets, but we do develop and manufacture some elements. That's a technical element. I won't speak about that, but that's a technical element that we directly sell to those manufacturers, and they bring this product into the market. You may know brands like Daikin, Mitsubishi Heavy, Samsung, Panasonic. They are all air conditioning manufacturers. So they get our products and sell it to the market because they already know which are the needs for that market. And when you are not able to be in those markets, that's the best way we have found to be present. And when the market evolves, I'm sure that we will place some people over there, and we will for sure get people from those countries in order to have the local culture well adopted. And in another countries, sorry, the title is not being changed. In another countries, we are working very, very close to distribution people. There are some people all over the world that, in fact, they look for technology to sell in their own countries, and they know locally how it works and how everything operates. So when we go to look for them, or either they come and look for us, what we do is just to be really, really close to us, to those people. Sorry. How come? Well, we set always a person that is internal, that comes from here, from Spain, and always has the interface communication with local people over there. That business model is another third business model. It's not like a technological cooperation where all those brands, as I said before, they're getting our brand and selling it to the market. It's like if we are coming into the market, but with local people. Those are the three business models that we have found and with which we are developing the international markets. Actually, I was just coming yesterday from Hamburg, and we are having this type of collaboration over there. We're having a distributor who takes our product and get into the market. And it is the distributor who sets every single stage in the market. He says when you have to go with one product or with the other. Here in Spain, we have a very wide portfolio of solutions and of products. And that's not to be taken to the other two business models. You have to follow, and you can push, you can try to do things, but you have to stay always at the rhythm that those collaborators set. Okay? Well, again, this sounds really beautiful. It sounds like, okay, you got the ideas really clear and you know what you have to do when you go abroad, but that's not the way. We've also learned from our mistakes or from our experiences. For instance, UEA is one of the markets that we approached. We are having their distributor that are putting our systems, our products into the market, but the climate there is so horrible, it's so hot, and the thing works so different that it's extremely important to take into account every single advice that they tell you. And even they interfere in the design of the product. It's a must that you adapt your product to the local culture. Even in the wiring, something so simple that wiring with a screw, it's completely different from one market to another. And for sure, working at 45 degrees, it's like a bit of horrible. Okay. And again, in the United States, we tried, and we do try to set our same business model, the one that we are having in Europe, there in the United States. And wow, it was 2 years of very hard working and with many success. The biggest success from those 2 years that I would dare to say is that we've learned that wasn't the model. Okay, the model nowadays is completely different, and we are setting several collaboration with people over there, and actually it's working. And with less work, less investment, and coming with less barriers. Okay. So from our point of view, I would like to say that the conclusion is it's really, really important to take into account how market responds to your own models. Normally we dare to come to those markets and we say, okay, we are going to push and to set this business model, but sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, cultural adaptation is key. Our colleague, he said before, writing an email may mean something to you and may mean something completely different to the other people. WebEx is also another step ahead. You can see the faces from the people, and when they do something like screwing their faces, you say, okay, I have to clarify this message, otherwise you go the wrong way. And when you're there to cross the desert, you choose the right camel, because choosing the right partner it's another key important that we've faced in these past years. If you choose a partner or a collaborator who blocks you so much so that you are completely blind to the market, that's not a good point. Collaboration means collaboration. It means that you are doing your business, I am doing my business, and we work together to go to the market. So it's really, really important to have the right point with the common goal. Sorry. Okay. So thanks for your time and attention. There are my contacts, and if any question, I'm pleased to answer. Sorry. Thank you.
The next speaker is Antonio de las Nieves from Yerbabuena Software.
We've made, all the board have discussed, many of the mistakes to become an international company. Currently, about our 30%, 20% of the revenue comes from abroad, and the markets where we are most established is Latin America and the US. What we do as a company is we build enterprise software. We build software for companies, and in our case, we're specialized on document management. We started with a very innovative technology coming directly from the R&D in the University of Malaga, and it had to do with the understanding of documents. That's why we call our company, our product, Atento, and it has to do with intelligence over document management. You have nowadays tools like folder share, you have tools like Dropbox or Google Drive, but we go one step further in which every time you upload documents into a system, we're able to tag them automatically and extract information from them and process them. For example, we have a customer in the US which deals with large volumes of legal documents, and they all have to, they classify them manually. They have packets of legal cases where you have a case number, you have the document type, orders, and many other different document types, jury verdict, and they have to extract keywords in able to classify the information, and we do that for them, and the output would be the ordered documents inside a document management system, which we can also provide in the cloud, or they can use whatever structure they have on their own. At the end of 2010, we decided to try in Silicon Valley, and we've been there with a physical presence for about 3.5 years. Now we have a virtual presence, and I was there, and we opened the office. We had a company built, a corporation, US corporation, and the last year we moved to Miami because of our focus in the Latin American market. One of the mistakes I realized, and Vicente talked about this before, is we sent some of the founding team, a person we trusted, the person that better spoke English, that was me. So we sent me to San Jose, California, and we thought that this would be ideal for starting the network. Most of the time from Silicon Valley, we were actually attending in the same time zone. We were attending the Latin American market, which is the one we were already attending before. It's true we gain an advantage, and we learn a lot of things in Silicon Valley because that's a very, very specialized area. But I concur with what Vicente has said, that you need local people with experience, and mostly in the markets where we've done bigger projects like Chile or Colombia, it has been the partner network inside the country that has helped. In order to talk about the different steps that have worked for us from the very beginning to the internalization part, where we're starting to gain more tractions in foreign countries. We first started with inbound marketing. We are an enterprise software company, and most of the marketing we do is done over internet. We don't have a lot of salespeople. In fact, we've been reducing the amount of salespeople that put a step on the door of the customer and call them the traditional way. And we have more and more specialized people that are technical in the product, and we invest more in the blogging, paper research documents, white papers, and things like that that attract the attention of the market, and also case studies over our products. So this is one thing you can actually do without investing a lot of money, and in that sense, you can start gaining leads and see, from what country of the world you are getting the most traction. For example, we treat the world as a whole market, but we can see the difference between the Spanish-speaking and English-speaking markets, because that's where we do the marketing on. So we every once in a while we land a customer in France or Italy or even in Africa. We've landed a couple, but those do not make a trend. So if you find that they are going to be profitable, of course you have to attend them and you can do projects with them. But from the marketing perspective, we were able to start getting tractions in all Latin America because we were positioned in Google for the convenient keywords. So people would search for gestión documental or document management, as those words are in English. And from then on, many combinations for document capture, things like that. And that started to gain traction, and we actually solved projects abroad. I think Alfonso also talked about WebEx. We use WebEx, GoToMeeting, any other of those tools will save you a lot of money in travel expenses. But sometimes customers are bigger and have a stronger presence. For example, we're now doing a project with Barclaycard, and it's for Spain and Portugal. And they require us to go to Lisbon, Madrid, physically. And they have a team we also connect overnight with the technical people that are in India or wherever, and we do a lot of that. But we save a lot from being concentrated. We tried the experience to have a business abroad, and our first US customer actually came when we were back in the first large we've landed recently. We've landed that customer from being here. So the fact that you have to be present, at least from our standpoint, has not proven to be totally necessary. But I do agree that if you need persons to help you dealing with a partner that contracts. For example, we have in Colombia many projects with the government, and we need local partners that have a physical structure there, and they are the ones that are able to get the project from the government, because the government cannot contract a company abroad. So in that case, we work with partners, and they also do the project management, and they have the closeness with the final customer, and that would be the part working with a partner network. Typically, we also have customers that buy our products directly from using PayPal from our website, and that's a very good thing because it involves very little money from salespeople. It involves very little money from marketing, follow-up, travels, etc. So that's a part that is also, you are able nowadays to get international by using web technologies and using them well. Those require an expertise, but I think it's with the least amount of money spent is the easiest way to expand abroad. Okay. One of our strengths also in our company were the ability, the fact that we were small and we were able to rotate. For example, we had a focus in 1 year to expand in the US. Over the next couple of years, we decided to go to Miami and focus in Latin America. For larger companies, the amount of money lost would have been huge. In our case, this was very, very much reduced. So that's another good thing. Another thing people tend to think is you actually need the company abroad and all the things that come with that. You have to use lawyers to get the corporation going. You have to use a corporate bank account. But in fact, we've learned that after, and that's another mistake that we should have known before, you can have a US or dollar account, and you can charge customers in Latin America in dollars, and you can charge customers in the US in dollars with an account open in a bank in Spain. So you have your own legal structure, but you can have an invoice being sent without taxes because it's a payment of something that comes from abroad. And that way really works very well for us. So you don't have to be dealing with the fact that you have many bank accounts in different countries and then all the accounting divided among countries. In that sense, that's what we are doing right now. And it simplifies a lot because we had an account in Silicon Valley Bank in the US. We had the company constitute, but then we thought, even actually for Latin American countries, it's better to operate. Sometimes the treaties are better with Spain directly than with companies in the US. And you cannot, as a small company, you cannot afford to open a business in the countries we operate. We operate in Guatemala, we operate in Panama, we operate in Colombia, Chile, Mexico, Ecuador, and Peru. Those are the most important, also Argentina. So it's in all those 7 countries, many of them use dollars like Panama or Ecuador, but many of them, they use the local currency, like the Chileans use another currency, and they will all love to have you have a business in there and have salespeople that they can call on the phone. But in our experience, that's not anymore a requirement because we live in a globalized world, and doing online meetings and having an account in US dollars or a PayPal service in place, that takes a lot of barriers that before were much more costly. One of the weaknesses also in our case perhaps has been the time. Time is something that, of course, with more money you can speed up the process of being international, but in our opinion it's always a matter of internalization never happens very fast. It's a whole process in itself, and it requires learning from the culture of the countries. It requires, and again, in sales process, in our case, our sales cycle is pretty long. So, it requires a lot of understanding. They've talked about culture before, and I also think that's a very important point. I had the experience to be late because of my GPS one time to a meeting in Santa Clara University, which is in the very heart of Silicon Valley. And the person there they were outraged, and it was like 15 minutes late. In Spain, that would have been perfectly normal. In there, they were like, 15 minutes. I was about to leave to my lunch break, and you came, I was already here, let's do the meeting, but next time we won't have a meeting. You have to be very respectful to their time, and that's also a cultural thing that you have to learn. Another thing, we had a lead we actually have Airbus as one of our customers here in Spain, and one of our leads in the US was Boeing. They took a look at our website and they said, I was going to recommend this product with our bosses, but we found a couple of spelling mistakes, and we're not going to do that anymore. They said it like that. That's something we have found in the US. In the US, you have to be in time and deliver in time, but you also have to look perfectly polished. It doesn't have to look like, for example, in Latin America, it's everything, lots of colors. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. They wait for you. They make you wait. They're horrible with keeping track of time, and you have to adapt to that, and you have to consider this is normal. Don't take it personally. But in the US, it's the other way around, and you have to be very, very specific, and they also get very bored with long emails. They like things very short, very specific, and in the meetings, typically they last 30 minutes. When I've had meetings that are in person, it's boom, boom, boom. Let's get to the business, let's cut this deal. And in Spain, sometimes you take the customer to eat, you waste a lot of time with too many things, and that's something that we don't like. Okay. I've talked about using the account in US dollars to start small. That's another thing we've learned. It's better to start small than to start big. We had an investing round in 2013. We had a lot of money, and we burned too many of that money without keeping a sense of starting small and keep growing in a bootstrapping way, which we think is now a much better way. Also, that money can be spent wisely if you hire salespeople that are local. I totally agree with that. That was one of my points, because by the time you have a network established, in my case, for example, 2.5 years, 3 years that I was in Silicon Valley, we decided to move to Miami because that seemed a more natural way, closer in time zone hours, because it seems like the US is the same thing, but it's not the same thing, because actually from the West Coast you are 9 hours apart, meaning when it's 9 o'clock over there, it's 6 p.m. over here, and people are already tired. Don't bring people in Spain, your software development team, you bring them tasks, they're gonna say, this can be for tomorrow, it's already 6 p.m. here, we've already had our so if you have something urgent, typically it's gonna be resolved on the next day, and that's a bit harder. In the case of the 3-hour difference we found from Florida to California, makes a huge difference, because 3 p.m. actually you start at 9 p.m. and if you even go a little before that, you have all the afternoon to deal with anything in real time with the people together, and to have that window of 3-4 hours where you can have meetings with your company, with your headquarters, makes a huge difference. So in my opinion, that's why it makes sense that a lot of Spanish companies, for the US market and Latin American market, they land in the Miami area, and it's a very good airport hub from which you can be also in Bogota or in Mexico, at a stone range. A couple of hours you're there, and go there and fly back on the same day. Sometimes those trips from San Jose, for example, they were much longer, much more costly. So it depending on where your market is, you have to choose very carefully where you should be. And again, in our opinion, first the enterprise account we've landed in the US, besides small cloud accounts that pay over PayPal and are very small, they come with us, with the team being here, with nobody with a physical presence in the US. So in our sense, the fact that you have to open a physical business, it depends. We have a product, and it's a software product able to sell digitally online. So in that sense, it's probably very, very different than professional services that involve a larger establishment in the different markets. So those are my points for today. If you have any questions, we can address them.
So now it's time to questions or comments. Yes, please. Oh, please open the microphone and press the button.
If I understand the representation from your firm, all of you belong to the B2B market, not B2C. So can we conclude that small firms or medium firms, technological, have more success in B2B than B2C? Another aspect is, given that you are just produce a little piece of the final product, the specialization inside the chain value that gives you the opportunity to become success in the market. All of you. Please.
Can you repeat the second question?
The second question is, if you understand that word specialization inside the shadow value of the product that gives you the opportunity to have success with your product.
Sorry, can I just interrupt? When you answer the question, can you please open the microphone and press the button to speak, so then we can hear you all properly, and the people at home watching on live streaming can too. Thank you.
Okay, good. In our case, actually that's the key point. The product we do manufacture, it can be actually copied. what cannot be copied, and the reason why we can go abroad and people sees us like, as we are the leader in our niche, no one in the world does the same thing as we are doing here in Malaga, is because of the added value. Selling a product, something that can be manufactured, never mind if it's in China or wherever it can be copied. But what cannot be copied is the model and the idea and the service and the knowledge and the background that you are gaining. That must be taken from other companies in order to be competitive with you. So from our point of view, and in my personal opinion, for sure that's the key, at least for our market.
I think you were talking about the fact that specialization gives you a clear advantage. I think that's very obvious. And also you talked about the comparison between B2B and B2C. In our case, we are a software company that deals with large to medium companies. We don't have many very large projects, and yeah, it's 100% B2B. Because document management software is, that's our industry. But we've seen many small companies from Spain that have built products that are, they may be B2B, but they're aimed at the actual developers. So for example, I remember right now a software that's called Balsamic. This company is very, very successful with very little people, have been able to do more than 2-3 million euro with, I think there were 4 or 5 employees. So they've been having a very successful rate, and they had the developers, and it was more of a type of a B2C market. And if you look at all the other companies, for example, Dropbox is a very good example of a company that can actually make money on a B2B market, but can also have a very wide customer presence as the marketing evolves with the freemium model. So they have free paying customers, also no paying customers that use the product for free, and then they try to keep track. I think it doesn't really make a difference. In our case, most of the companies are B2B, but small companies can have success, at least online, and that in that part, many large companies started small. Some were venture funded, some not, and they were able to grow using B2C products. In our case, I think it may be true that we'll have more of a B2B focus, but I don't think it makes a difference on about the rest.
In our particular case, our business is focused on definitely on B2B business, B2B approach. Of course, we haven't the successful recipe, of course. But of course, our business approach is develop technology and develop solutions. And in SME company, for SME companies, is difficult, I think, to in general to B2C business in general. So in our particular case, as I said before, we are quite focused on B2B because we develop a system for integrating in bigger systems. So clearly, our focus is in this type of business. In our particular case, it have no sense another approach. Anyway, I'd like to comment the knowledge of the technology. Try to go forward in the needs of the customer and so on is critical for the successful of your products, and for sure the flexibility to get the customer to get the customer needs, of course.
Well, I think that when it comes to specialization, I think you do have, and that's something I mentioned, that you have to be specialized, and you really need to know where you are good at, and that's what you want to sell. For me, there is no question about it. You need to know what's your position in the chain of value of the whole market. And to be honest, I'm not worried about being copied. It's not that easy to be. I mean, you can be copied, that's true, but you have to keep innovating. And also, even the ones that copy you, at the end, they need a market. So I'm not that worried about that. You can. I like even the example of the Chinese trying to copy, or even the Russians trying to make airplanes, and they can't compete with the Americans, so they can't compete with Europe, because sometimes what makes you different from the rest is not the actual technology that you're using, it's the whole processes involved and the culture of the company. The Russians can make aircraft, but they cannot make them at competitive prices when they want to compete with Europeans or the Americans. So yes, they can copy you, but at the same time, you can always be ahead of them. So I wouldn't be worried about that. When it comes to the B2B and the B2C, yes, we all are B2B, and it may be simpler, look simpler to be B2B. I think that you can be B2C. The thing is, and something I haven't mentioned, but I should have, is very, very important, your webpage. I think one of the keys in the global world is to have a perfect webpage. I don't think we are aware of how important internet is nowadays. And I like telling my people that internet is everything nowadays. I remember being in Seattle and I had to ship something from Seattle to Spain, and the first thing I did is to Google and try to find shipment companies. And the first one it was on the list. That's the one I picked, and that's the one that got my business. They got 2,000 euros from me, and that's a B2C company. If you are a B2C company, I would suggest to really invest on your webpage because that's your main channel of communication with your customers.
Any other questions? Please.
Hello, this is Juan Diego from Coaching Airlines. I'd like to focus my question on the people. You've been all sharing experiences with multicultural barriers, issues, and then local agreements with local people. How do you, I'm quite interested, and I really appreciate if you can share with us, how do you manage your talent people? How do you manage your different employees in different countries? How do you manage that to coordinate it and avoid and also take advantage of the different cultural environments? Thank you.
What do you mean by taking advantage of the cultural environment? I don't understand what you mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, is that how do you save the different cultural, when you work with people in different countries and they belong to your company, how do you coordinate them? How do you save the differences, the cultural differences, in terms of getting the best of the whole team?
Well, that's a very good question, and it's for me one of the toughest challenge is to manage cultural differences. It's not that easy at all. The only thing for me is that to bring everybody awareness that we all are different and we all are okay. I mean, there are many different ways of doing things, and they are all okay. One of the problems I think we have is that I don't know you guys, but I went to university and I was taught that there was only one solution to the problems. And one of the things that life has taught me is that there are many solutions to the problems, and they all are okay. All the solutions are okay. The only thing you have to reach an agreement. In that case, what I would suggest is to bring your people together as much as you can, so they get to know each other and they get to understand the different cultural differences, and then they can understand that there are many, many different ways of doing things. One of the things that we have to deal is, especially countries or cultures that have more developed economies, is that we tend to look down over the guys that have less developed economies. And at the same time, in Spain, we have some sort of complex when we go to United States or to the UK or to France, and we think that they don't pay attention to us. And I don't think that's true. But for me, one of the issues that is important is to make sure that you don't hurt anybody's feelings, that making them think that just because you are from Spain and you're going to Morocco, the Spanish way has to be better. No, maybe many times the Moroccans are right, and this is who is wrong. And the same thing when you are dealing with Americans. The Americans, just because they are Americans doesn't mean they are right. But that's my point of view.
In general, manage people is one of the most difficult things in one company. Doesn't matter the size of the company, but I think it was one of the most difficult things. From my perspective, the key point is the people align, or people be identified with the target of the company. This is one of the most difficult, and could be quite difficult manage all one team of Spanish people if some of them are not identified with the target of the company. So in general, this is one of the most important things to keep in mind.
From my opinion, I completely agree with my colleagues. It's a must. If you have to collaborate and you have people abroad, the cultural is incredibly important. I mean, from our point of view, being in the United Emirates Arabs or in other Arabic culture that have some other issues and some other point of view that you maybe you don't share, but you have to understand it and you have to respect it. And sometimes you get very, very much of really learning, of really listening to these people. The only point that I would like to add is that it's a responsibility for the mother company to really define where you have to go, and then really invest, because it's not spending time, it's investing time sharing that idea with your colleagues. Then you will get all these new ideas from all those people saying, okay, you want to go that way, to that point, maybe the way you've drawn in your draft is not the right way. Let's do this way, and you find something. Sometimes you find things really, really beautiful in that moment.
Yeah, well, we have the least experience in that sense because we are trying to keep all of our employees locally in Malaga and do everything, all the internalization process. Using external technologies and external partners and doing everything online. But yeah, there are many cultural differences. I also think culturally also even websites are different. If you see corporate websites from Latin America, from Europe and from the US, they change a lot. Sometimes people see, in my experience at least what I've seen with the US, the websites are very serious. Sometimes people think they're very outdated, and it may not be the case. They have Times New Roman, and that's also a difference where in Latin America it's all the fanciness and the colors and everything. If you go to a local supermarket in the US and one has a focus on Latin American products, you can see the difference just by walking. They may be next to door to door, but they have whole different markets inside the same country. So that changes. The US is a very large market, and I agree also with what Vicente said about the fact that we have to go to the US market and not think of ourselves down in the first place, because they are really smart people, and they have many good talented engineers that will listen to you, and they will see if your product works well or not, and they will measure data. And once they see that the product makes convenience for them, helps them save time and money in a certain process, they'll be able to buy it, and they won't even care. They're actually dealing with people from India that are everywhere in the US in the software world. They have a very, very bad accent, and many of them we deal with. They usually take lots of classes for improving their English, but it takes a hard time. But they're able to make it. So why can't we, expand globally and have that footprint with technology made in Spain?